Hi guys, how are you doing today? We are at UBC Vancouver campus, but we have a guest joining us today from UBC Okanagan, international student recruiter. Reese, please welcome here to Vancouver. Great today, but thank you for joining us.
Yes. Hello everyone, I'm Peyton Riz and really excited to chat with you today a little bit about UBC Okanagan.
Yeah. Okay, so I assume you guys know UBC. UBC is such a big university brand. Basically, it's top 3 in Canada. It's our Ivy League. It doesn't need any introduction. But today we might be able to focus more on UBC Okanagan because UBC has 2 big campuses, Vancouver, Okanagan. There is a little also like downtown campus in Vancouver, BC Southern School of Business. But today we're going to speak a little. What's the difference, UBC Okanagan and UBC Vancouver, and what benefits can you get if you go study UBC Okanagan? So, Chris, would you be able to tell us, like, what's in your opinion? You live there, you know Kelowna. Let's just talk about like the city itself, because it's a really, I've been there a couple of times as a tourist, just visiting, and it's a beautiful city. It's a beautiful location. It's like our little Switzerland, just to begin with. It's just vineyards. It's just nice.
Yes.
But as a city, can you tell us like how is it being there, living there?
Yeah, I actually moved to Kelowna from Winnipeg, so I'm a prairie girl, and I don't like the winters, so that's why I moved to Kelowna, because we still experience 4 seasons, but much warmer summers and warmer, milder winters in Canadian standards. So I went there for some of the weather, but as you mentioned, just the geography around the rolling mountains. We're on a 135-kilometer lake, so I'm someone who loves the outdoors. I go to the beach every day in the summer, go mountain biking, running. So if you're someone who really enjoys the outdoors, Kelowna is a great place for you. We kind of call it the adventurer's paradise because you can really get involved in any kind of activity you want. We do have an outdoors club at UBC Okanagan too that helps people get into the outdoors, and the city itself I'd say is very young and vibrant. A lot of people are moving from across Canada choosing to live in Kelowna, and LinkedIn actually did a study and showed that Kelowna has the highest amount of remote job applicants because of the lifestyle. People are choosing to live there but still have a remote job with a large company in Toronto or Vancouver, or some of them have offices in Kelowna. So it is a great atmosphere for meeting people, having that young dynamic community. There's also a great restaurant scene, cultural scene as well, and it is the fastest growing city in Canada. So there's around 250,000 people, but it's growing constantly, really changing. So if you want to be part of a very young, hip, growing city, it's a great community to be a part of, and I've been really grateful to find a great sense of belonging there and be able to help students also find their new home away from home in Kelowna.
It's a great example.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so living in Kelowna is great, but also our students looking forward to having jobs as graduates. And if Kelowna is a growing city, that's where the opportunity is. Is that correct?
Yes, and with it being the 3rd largest city in BC and a growing city, and it is the largest city in the interior of BC, there are a ton of job opportunities, especially with our tech and entrepreneurial community. I'm not sure if you're aware of Club Penguin, but it was an animation and video game company that started in Kelowna and then sold to Disney quite a few years ago. So when that happened, it drew in a lot of tech developers to Kelowna as their hub. And we also have an innovation center where our businesses can then pair up with students. So there's a lot of networking opportunities, as well as our healthcare is very large there because it is the central hub for healthcare. So any students in nursing, or whether they want to be in physical therapy, any of those job opportunities are very large. But overall, engineering, civil engineering, it is a central hub in BC for jobs. So there's always growing opportunities, and we have career advisors that help start getting students involved in the community early on so that you're getting set up for success after graduation.
Perfect, exactly. That's a super important piece of information because that students, they look into getting a good program. They're looking that they would have the co-op opportunity, but when they get there, I've heard many times, there is no co-op. Like they're struggling to find a place, and that's lots of times in Toronto, like it's a huge city. It's difficult to find a job, especially for somebody who's just studied. He's got no experience yet, and he's looked into like the job market as everybody else who has the experience or already graduated. So the career advisors at Kelowna, would they help? Would they ease that process to getting into the field?
Yes, and we actually have specific advisors for our international students. So there's a program called Global Pathways, and this is where we have an advisor who is making those career connections. If you have a goal or a company in mind that you want to work for, they'll be able to put you in contact with them. As you're a student, you'll have mentoring meetings every few months, get that career experience, get their advice on how to get to a certain path or job, and then we also pair that up with our regulated immigration consultant, so that if you decide you want to stay in Canada, use that post-grad work permit or work towards PR, our whole team takes a holistic approach to really help international students and get over that hurdle of coming to Canada, finding that job, and choosing what you want to do next for your path.
Wow, so the students are really taken care of.
Yes, we really want to support our international students, and that's from career advising to even we have our global engagement office that puts on different events, just celebrating different holidays, really bringing the community together, because we know it's a big transition, moving away from home and your family, and we want to create that sense of family at UBC Okanagan.
Yeah, I have that next question actually, how the life is for the student, from the student perspective, because I watched some of your videos and the students are speaking and they have little clubs there in all the areas, and it is actually, it's a difficult part for the student to start blending and finally start living in Canada. And some of the families, in my experience, underestimated before they start. Basically all effort is get into that, so admission process, it's difficult, get all the papers done, get the portfolio done, and then they can, oh, we're there, but that's only the first step, you basically just got there. And to help the student not only like certainly academically, that's number one, but also just to live there comfortably and to make friends and to pursue their hobbies. As you said, there is hiking opportunities, like outdoor opportunities, hiking, and that's really, really important, like for people too, for young people, right?
Yeah, I think a big piece for UBC Okanagan and UBC in general is making sure students are happy students, because a happy student also is a successful student. You'll be more motivated in your classes, so we prioritize mental health, we have those resources in place. But one thing I really recommend for international students is signing up for our Jumpstart. This is our orientation week. A week before school starts, you get to move in early, settle into the residence halls, and this is where some of our students have met their lifelong friends, and there's a lot of social activities, but we also help you set up bank accounts, phone plans, all of that in one spot on campus, which is really nice to just get settled in before the classes start. And we also have a clubs and organization fair, so over 200 different clubs to get involved in. I always recommend signing up for them. You'll get those emails, you'll know when events are going on the weekend, anything from karaoke club. I'm a big fan of singing, so that's what I would sign up for. Ice cream club, robotics club, academic club. So there's so much to explore, and I think one thing of advice that a lot of students share is getting involved in it earlier. Sometimes first year students are a little bit nervous to take that step, but just signing up for one thing, even finding one buddy that you bring to that first event, can be really helpful in finding that sense of community.
So would you say like you wake up like a week earlier before the program starts? That's when it's all happening, the Jumpstart?
Yeah, Jumpstart is about 5 days before the official start of school, and that's something you'll get emailed about. Students will have the opportunity to sign up for formally, and that's a great opportunity. But even if you can't make it to Jumpstart, there'll be events all leading up that first week and month of your school days. So a lot of opportunities, and it's just taking that first step and putting yourself out there.
Yeah. That's a great point. It's totally great point. Socialization is such an important part of our life. Okay, well, UBC is great. Is it difficult to actually get into it? What would you say?
It is competitive. UBC is a school that does help hold ourselves to high standards for academics, what we're looking for in a student, but we do evaluate holistically. So we won't just be looking at your grades, but also what you've gotten involved in throughout high school, whether that's work, volunteering, your personal home life responsibilities. So make sure you're chatting about those things because we really value an overall student that wants to have a positive impact on the world, but also has high achieving academic goals. Overall, I would say it does depend on the year, the program in terms of competitiveness, but if you're strong academically, involved outside of the classroom, you'll be a competitive student. And with UBC Okanagan, we are a growth campus, so we have more room to grow. We're constantly building new buildings, more classroom sizes, more residence halls, so this does allow us to accept more students with those high academic standards still, but it is a great opportunity to be part of a campus that's growing, changing. You get to be part of those traditions that are being formed in these early stages. So it really just depends on the program for competitiveness, but as long as you're a strong student, involved in a lot, you'll be at a good spot for UBC Okanagan.
It might be difficult to assess, like, I'm a strong student, am I involved in a lot? Like, okay, so we're speaking like 75% in GPA and up, right? More or less?
Yeah, I would say for curriculum, it depends, but we're going to be looking for A's and some B's in terms of that grading score. We do really love students that are in the IB curriculum, if you take AP courses, and then just making sure you're getting those prerequisites, like engineering requires chemistry, physics, pre-calc. So we'll focus on those grades and then your overall grades. But I'd say, yeah, students that have A's and B's will be strong students.
Okay. All right. With IB, they know that. With APs, like that's like from my son's experience, how many APs should we speak of? Is it one enough? Is it three enough? Is it have to have 5 APs or?
I'd say a couple.
Okay.
It does make your application more robust because you know APs are a little bit more of a challenging course to take.
Yeah.
And depending on what you get on that AP exam, you can be eligible for first year credit. So that's really helpful in reducing some of your load.
Is it going to be actually counting towards your first year credit?
Yeah. So say you do AP chemistry and you get a 4 or 5 on the exam, then that would count to first year chemistry. So that's a nice thing to consider for those students in AP.
So then they can get a little bit ahead of their peers and they can get like next level studies.
Yes, yeah, or if you want to take a minor, it allows more flexibility to add different courses, explore, or have a lighter course load your first semester as you ease into the transition at UBC.
Okay, well, this is actually a very important topic I wanted to speak about as well, because the students from different countries will be different. So we do have this flexibility in Canada. Major, you can choose your major and you can choose your minor. You can choose sometimes double major. Tell us about it a little bit more. And also, at what point of time do they have to actually make up their mind on the exact major? Let's say I looked into engineering and I don't know yet. Is it going to be mechanical engineering or civil engineering? So, and like, of course, there's so many things to take into consideration for the students who haven't even had their hands on it yet. And to decide at being 17, it's just like a lifetime decision. It's too much work. Overload. So how do they do that? How do you help them find it? So
yeah, I totally understand that challenge. I remember being in my shoes as a student, deciding what I want to do, changing my mind. So the nice thing about UBC is that flexibility. When you're applying to the bachelor program. So if you're interested in engineering, you'd apply to the Bachelor of Applied Sciences, which is our engineering program. In that first year, you would take intro classes to all the different concentrations and specializations. So you can learn more about mechanical engineering, civil, computer, and then you can decide which classes you ended up liking. After your first year, you would then declare your major and say, I want to do mechanical engineering. At the Okanagan campus, you're guaranteed that first choice major, which is really nice because we have that space and flexibility. So across all of our faculties, you'll have that guaranteed major. On the Vancouver campus, it can be a little bit more competitive where you have to list all of your top choice majors, and based off of your grades, you're placed into that. So not necessarily guaranteed just because of space restrictions on the Vancouver campus. So that's one thing to consider when looking at the both campuses. But another thing too, if you do want to add a minor, or maybe you're in the Bachelor of Arts or Science and you'd like to do biology or biochemistry, but you also have a passion for history or some other area, you can always get a minor in one area and major in another. You can double major. Note that might take a little bit longer. It might take 5 years to graduate, but there are a ton of opportunities. We want it to be interdisciplinary, you to really get those passions and have a lot of opportunities to study the courses you want to take.
Yeah, that's great. I do have a student who was like a really great example of that. She was always into psychology, but at the same time, she was really great at theater. And she actually double majored in both disciplines. Yes, continuous studies. She's now studying. Very bright student.
Great.
Yeah, but it is possible. So you don't have to say only one field and that's it. Like, don't study anything else. You actually can combine your interest, your passion, and like it's maybe a more academic passion, more, I don't know, cultural and creative passion as well. Yeah. Okay, well, that's perfect. Well, and one piece of information everybody is always asking and looking forward to the answers is the scholarships. Is there any opportunities for scholarships?
Yes, there are a lot of different scholarships, and we know it's a huge investment on your education. So UBC actually provides over $40 million to our international students every year. And part of these scholarships majorly are the merit-based scholarships. There's no extra application to that, and what those are our Outstanding International Student Award. This is a one-time award of up to $25,000. And then we also have a renewable award called the International Entrance Major Scholarship, and this is $25,000 up to for 4 years. So these range, you could get, say, an entrance award of $15,000 plus a renewable award of $20,000 per year. So it kind of fluctuates depending on your grades and what you've been involved in. So those are offered on both campuses. And then we do have specific scholarships to the Okanagan campus because we know the value our international students are bringing the Okanagan campus. So these are our Global Elevation Award. This is an $8,000 award per year that's automatically given to anyone that's a first-time UBC Okanagan student. And then we have our Welcome Award of $5,000. So automatically, if you're really interested in the Okanagan, it seems like the best fit campus for you, you'll be eligible for that $13,000 automatically for your first year, and then $8,000 after that, plus any other additional merit-based awards.
That's great. How do you reapply? Let's say you've already gone through 1 year, and are you still automatically considered for the next year, or do you have to send an application?
Yes, automatically considered as long as you're maintaining your student status as full-time and you're not dropping out of any coursework, you'll still be considered.
That's nice. The possibility to actually pay your education with some really good money.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And last thing on my mind I have is about how, like, residence. Is it possible to find a residence on campus? Because it's challenging in Vancouver. First year is guaranteed, but it is actually expensive and challenging. And also, do you have the residences for, let's say, younger families? Is it a possibility, or like for master degree program?
Yeah, on the Okanagan campus, like Vancouver, we have that first year guaranteed, like you say. And then after that, it's either a lottery system for on-campus housing. But what we do have is a community called Academy Hill. This is a 5-minute walk from campus, so a really short walk, and it's condos, houses, and apartments rented to just UBC students. So this is where if you're a family that wants to have an apartment, whether you're in a graduate program or undergraduate, you can do so. Or in your second year, say you meet a bunch of friends, you decide, let's rent an apartment together. You can rent an apartment in Academy Hill, because these are just for UBC students. So outside community members can't rent there. So just for our students on our campus, but a lot of students actually enjoy living downtown. So you can find rental units, houses down there. as well as all the neighboring communities around campus. So it's a great opportunity to live off a campus. There's busing routes included in the in your tuition. To get around, really easy to get around. I was someone that lived downtown, and I'd take the bus to campus and then bike home because there's lots of trails to bike around, which is really nice. And overall accommodations in Kelowna are about 30% cheaper than Toronto or Vancouver, so a little more affordable, which is really
More
nice.
affordable again. That's some ways to like distribute your budget towards studying actually and quality of life.
Yes.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's all my
Thank you so
questions.
much for having me, and always reach out. We're happy to help you along the journey.
Thank you so much, guys. If you have any questions, totally we're here to help.